Caitanya Caritamrita. Otherwise, it would become too voluminous if everything was in one volume. It's divided into three: Adi-Lila, Madhya-Lila, and Antya-Lila. Adi-Lila are the beginning pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Madhya-Lila is his middle life pastimes, and Antya is towards the end, the pastimes towards the end. So we are going to start with the Adi-Lila, and we are going to have the dedication presented to my friends and devotees who like to read my books and who approached me to request that I render the great Caitanya Caritamrita into English. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So Prabhupada has presented it to all the devotees and to all his friends who like to read his books. This Caitanya Caritamrita. So, introduction. Originally delivered as 5 morning lectures on the Caitanya Caritamrita, the authoritative biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, before the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, New York City, April 10 to 14, 1967. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is the author of Caitanya Caritamrita. And then Srila Prabhupada has translated from Bengali, because the original Caitanya Caritamrita is written in Bengali, and Srila Prabhupada translated it first into English, and then now it's there in so many languages of the world. The word Chaitanya means living force. Charita means character, and Amrita means immortal. So Chaitanya, living force. Charita is character, and Amrita, immortal. As living entities, we can move, but a table cannot, because it does not possess living force. Movement and activity may be considered signs or symptoms of the living force. Indeed, it may be said that there can be no activity without the living force. Although the living force is present in the material condition, this condition is not Amrita, immortal. The words Caitanya Caritamrita then may be translated as the character of the living force in immortality. So Prabhupada is saying that we are different than a table. We living entities, we are different than some just dead matter, because the dead matter is dead. It does not have consciousness. There's no living entity inside there. You know, this body is a dead matter. If we come out of this body, it is a dead body, right? That's why we call dead body. So just because we are staying inside this body right now, we say it's a living body, but actually the body is dead. What is living is the soul, the living force. Yeah. So, and then because the soul is inside the body, there is activity. Once the soul leaves the body, the dead body can't move. That's the reason it's called a dead body. So now, although we are right now in this body, our being in this body, we can't be eternally in this body. We are going to be changing our bodies. Even though we ourselves, the soul is immortal, but our being in this body is not eternal, not immortal. And so that's why Prabhupada is saying that Caitanya Caritamrita may be translated as the character of the living force in immortality, means the real true character of the soul. Yeah, because we are immortal actually. So, but how is this living force displayed immortally? It is not displayed by man or any other creature in this material universe. For none of us are immortal in these bodies. We possess the living force, we perform activities, and we are immortal by our nature and constitution. But the material condition into which we have been put does not allow our immortality to be displayed. So this is the same point that we were explaining here. Right now, because this body is dead and we are put inside this body and we are going to leave this body at a particular time, so this body is not immortal, but we, the soul, we are immortal. It is stated in the Katha Upanishad that eternality of the living force belong to both ourselves and God. Although this is true in that both God and ourselves are immortal, there is a difference. As the living entities, we perform many activities, but we have a tendency to fall down into material nature. God has no such tendency. So, eternality and living force. So, we, the living, the soul, we are living beings, and we are eternal. It's not that we, at any point of time, we are going to stop to exist, that we, the soul, is going to die at any time. No, the body will die. We will change our body into another body. But we, the soul, exist eternally. We have always existed in the past. We are existing now, and we will continue to exist. And Sri Krishna also has both these qualities. He is also a living person. He's the supreme person. He is living. God is a living person, and he's eternal. He has also always existed. He's existing now, and he will continue to exist. So in both these aspects, we share the same qualities as God, right? But there is a difference between God and us. And what is the difference? That we have a tendency to get covered by Maya. We get attracted. We have a tendency to forget Krishna. But Krishna has not such tendency. He cannot just get so attracted by Maya Devi that he will forget himself. No. Maya Devi is his servant. She is one of his energies. But for us, when we come under the influence of Maya Devi, what happens? We forget that we are Krishna's eternal servants, and we start thinking we are God. So being all-powerful, he never comes under the control of material nature. Indeed, material nature is but one display of his inconceivable energies. His energy is the same. His internal energy, his Yoga Maya Shakti, because we want to forget him, this same Yoga Maya Shakti becomes the Mahamaya for us. Same, like the same electricity can power an AC and it can power a heater. It depends what we want. So Krishna uses his energy. He has this internal energy for his devotees who want to be with him. Now, there are certain living entities who don't want to be with him. So this same energy acts as a forgetting energy for conditioned souls like us. If we want to remember him, she will act as his internal energy. She will make arrangements to bring us to him. If we want to forget him, she will make arrangements for us to come towards him. Remember him, she'll bring us towards him. Forget him, she'll take us away from him. But he is not under the control of this energy, of this forgetting energy. No. She's his energy. He just uses it. He just decides how to use which energy. So he can't be under the control. Is that point clear? An analogy will help us understand the distinction between ourselves and God. From the ground, we may see only clouds in the sky, but if we fly above the clouds, we can see the sun shining. From the sky, skyscrapers and cities seem very tiny. Similarly, from God's position, this entire material creation is insignificant. So when it's a cloudy day, from our vision, we can see only the clouds. We can't see the sun. But if we actually go beyond the clouds, if we go above the clouds, then we'll be able to see the sun. So I don't know if you all have the experience when we are in the aeroplane, and then when we look down, everything looks so small. It looks so small, you know. So God, his position is very high. He's sitting up there. So for him, this material creation looks very, very small. You know, it's not, it's just like a plaything for him. The tendency of the living entity is to come down from the heights where everything can be seen in perspective. God, however, does not have this tendency. The Supreme Lord is not subject to fall down into illusion Maya any more than the sun is subject to fall beneath the clouds. So the cloud can never actually cover the sun. It can cover only our vision of the sun. So that's how Maya Devi can never ever cover Krishna. She can never illusion Krishna. She illusions our vision of Krishna. That's all. Impersonalist philosophers, Mayavadis, maintain that both the living entity and God himself are under the control of Maya when they come into this material world. This is the fallacy of their philosophy. So Prabhupada is saying, Mayavadis, they say that God has also come under the clutches of Maya, just as the living entity has come under the clutches. And this is a wrong philosophy. God can never come under the control of illusion. He can never. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should therefore not be considered one of us. He is Krishna himself, the supreme living entity, and as such, he never comes under the cloud of Maya. So Krishna came 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya. He's Krishna himself. He's Krishna himself. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. And so he is not under Maya. So all his activities that we are going to hear about are all under the internal energy, all under his yoga Maya potency. It is not this Mahamaya under whose control we are in. His expansions and even his higher devotees never fall into the clutches of illusion. Lord Chaitanya, like we forget that we are the soul, and we start thinking we are the body, and that is our illusion, right? And we start thinking I'm separate than Krishna. We start thinking I'm the controller, I'm independent of Krishna. That is our illusion. But Krishna, he never forgets. He is never put into illusion. And Lord Chaitanya is also not put into illusion. Now, Yoga Maya, what she does is that in Golok Vrindavan, for the sake of pastimes, Yoga Maya, because Krishna wants to have loving pastimes with his devotees, he wants to have his loving relations with his parents, with his friends, with his gopis, with the cows. Now, if he keeps remembering that he's God, and if they keep remembering that he's God, they will not be able to have that intimate, loving exchange. You know, that love, there'll always be, oh, he's God, oh, I'm God. So that formality might be there. To not have this formality, the Yoga Maya potency, Krishna allows the Yoga Maya potency for him to forget that he's God and the Brajvasis to forget he's God. Imagine, we all want to pretend we are God. You know, we are not God, but we all want to pretend we are God, and we try to convince each other that we are God. But here Krishna, who's God himself, he wants to forget he is God so that he can have loving dealings with his devotees. And that is his internal potency, his Yoga Maya potency. Lord Chaitanya came to earth simply to preach Krishna Bhakti, love of Krishna. In other words, he is Lord Krishna himself teaching the living entities the proper way to approach Krishna. He is like a teacher who, seeing a student doing poorly, takes up a pencil and writes, saying, do it like this, A, B, C. From this, one should not foolishly think that the teacher is learning his ABCs. So our teacher also, she used to write A, B, C. And then does it mean that she doesn't know ABC? No, she's teaching us. So Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya to teach us how to love Krishna, because we don't know how to love Krishna. So he came to teach. Similarly, although Lord Chaitanya appears in the guise of a devotee, we should not foolishly think he is an ordinary human being. We should always remember that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, God himself, teaching us how to become Krishna conscious. And we must study him in that light. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He is not like us, one of the living entities, although he came as a devotee. Why did he come as a devotee? To teach us that, okay, I'm loving Krishna like this. You also love Krishna like this. To teach for our benefit, he came in the form of a devotee. And also he knew in Kali Yuga, we are so fallen that we will start pretending. If he came really as Krishna, as an incarnation, a different, and he openly declared, I'm an incarnation of Krishna, many other cheaters would also say, I'm an incarnation of Krishna. You know, to stop this also, he came in the mood of a devotee. He came actually how our mood should be. He came to teach us that. Any questions or comments or anything? If no, then we can stop here for today.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Caritamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.